college football preview video. Today we're taking a look at the Week 5 matchup. Rutgers headed on the road to take on Michigan at the Big House in Ann Arbor. We'll break it down for you in just a second. Make sure you go take a look at the other video Joe and I just recorded. SMU, South Florida. Joe made a great case for a side in that game. Make sure you check it out. I threw out a total play as well. Let's get into it, Joe. Michigan and Rutgers. This is an interesting one. Michigan, obviously, what do we say about Michigan? Is it time to fire Jim Harbaugh? I think it is. I don't know how you can continue with this. And where do they come out? Do they come out in one of these games where they just lay it to Rutgers like they did a couple years ago? What, they went 76-0 a few years ago? This is a Michigan team that is struggling. They have 9 turnovers on the season. 7 fumbles, Joe. This group has lost in 3 football games. They've only played 3 games. They have 9 turnovers. It's not good enough. They have injuries all over the place, including their running back, Zach Charbonnet, their best defender, Michael Dwumfor. He didn't play the other night against Wisconsin. And I got to tell you, they were ran all over in that game by a better football team. But now they come back to the Big House. They're laying a big number here, Joe, 27 at books. That is up from 26. Bettors coming in and betting Michigan here. Total is 48. You know, Joe, last week I had Boston College minus 8.5 against Rutgers. And for most of the game, they were in control. Rutgers hung around a little bit, but for the most part, I felt their quarterback, Arthur Sitkowski, really overachieved in the game. He had a big game. It's not going to be as easy against Michigan. I haven't laid a ton of big numbers this year, but this Rutgers team is bad. Defensively, they're not good. And this is a really tough road spot against what I would think would be a pissed-off Michigan team. And I know that they probably should have been pissed off after Army, but look, at the end of the day, this is a team that generally comes to play in these kind of games. But here's the truth of the matter, Joe, and why I won't be on Michigan here. 1-7 over the last 8 as a home favorite of 21.5 or more points in both games this year. As a big favorite, they have failed to cover. What do you like here, Rutgers, Michigan?
Well, Jeff, it's interesting because without question, I know that's usually the conventional logic that a team like Michigan, they're just going to take out their frustrations on an inferior team. But that usually doesn't happen according to the computer. In fact, this fits into my world-famous bubble burst theory where Michigan, look, they're a team. They had a chance to have a big statement game last week. They fell flat on their face, and usually those teams do come out flat the next week. I do have a specific one that's 36-15 when an undefeated ranked team loses to another ranked team. They are a fade of 36-15 the next week. Big underdogs when both teams are off of losses that were not competitive. 127-99-5. And look, in addition, as far as Charbonnet is concerned, he is supposed to play. I don't even know if they 100% verified he was hurt. I know he carried the ball only twice after carrying it 33 the week before, but it does, at least my reports, say that he is fine. But, versatile Michigan quarterback Dylan McCaffrey, he's doubtful, especially that's very important when you're talking about a big number. The backup quarterback's very important. And remember, he gives that little, brings that little variety, that little athleticism into their offense. He's still a little bit a part of their offense. So especially when you're laying a big number, I think that is important. Now, look, for Michigan, looks like True Wilson, who missed the last 2 games, will return. He's very good in pass protection, but their tight end, Sean McCowan, is doubtful. 6 receptions for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, Rutgers, it looks like they're going to go with Art Sinkowski. He's going to get the start this week, but that's okay. He looked pretty good last week against Boston College, 304 passing yards, 23 out of 33. The regular starting quarterback, McLean Carter, he's going through concussion protocol. They may have him too, but again, Sitkowski's proven that he can give the offense a lift, so I don't think that's a huge problem. Obviously, if they have both quarterbacks, I think that'll be even better, but most because of the bubble burst situation, I just think Michigan, just such a disheartening, deflating loss. It's way too many points. I'm going to take the big points here.
Yeah, I think getting this to 28 is probable. I think that could definitely happen in this game. We already see it move up a point. I mean, it is only Monday evening. We're recording this. You make a good point about the quarterbacks. McCaffrey does add a little bit of electric, play to that offense. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Shea Patterson has not been a good quarterback for Michigan. It's just that simple. And I don't know if it has to do with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh has also not been a good coach for this group either. Defensively, they don't look like the same team either. Their run defense was destroyed the other day. You look at the last 2 games, Joe, this group has given up 559 yards on the ground over the last 2 weeks. Rutgers is interesting. I think they're a better team than normal. They have a kid named Raheem Blackshear, a really good football player, kind of one of those water bug, players. He can kind of do anything, catch the ball, run the ball. He's an impressive player. So, yeah, I'm going to look to see if this one gets up to 28. I'm not interested. Michigan is a big favorite. I think you make some good points about the backups and things like that as well. I'm going to agree with you here. I would wait on this one. You think it goes to 28, right, Joe?
Yeah, in fact, it almost certainly will, because I do think that the public belief is Michigan's going to take out their frustrations. They don't like to bet on bad teams, and I would say this line is much more likely to move up, much higher than it is to go down.
Agree with you 100%. We don't need to talk much about this one. I'm in agreement with you. And I also, Joe, get the feeling I don't think this is as bad a Rutgers team as usual. They're not good, but they're also not I don't think they're this bad either, though. Joe, good stuff. Look forward to talking to you next week. Guys, make sure you go check out Joe at offshoreinsiders.com. What was your record last week, Joe, in football?
18-6. Just got that Monday night game over, so 18-6, and then the NFL alone, 26-12. Going back to the preseason, a new pick preseason football, and have had some good success. So, yeah, a nice week, and we're going to have a great week this weekend as well.
Love it. Go see Joe at offshoreinsiders.com. Joe, great stuff. Always love talking to you. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Jeff.